presentation, I would like to have just a very short introduction about what I'm going to present. This is our experiments in Alexandria University mainly and in Egypt in general. It's mixing three main axes: the research, the education, and the practice. So I really can't find a separating dimension between every field or every domain of these three axes. So let me start. Our nations share common concerns and crises, and this is a fact that we can't deny. Also, they share common future aspirations in solving our problems, and this is another fact. So about the very serious problem that we have discussing these recent years, it's about the illegal immigration. So let me tell you a real life scenario. It is a real story, short one, but it is a real one that I didn't know like for 2 months ago. I was just speaking to some of my friends who was involved in this crisis. So the start of the story, the beginning of the story, that there was a very corrupted man, very powerful, who is working in the Department of Justice, and he is used to buy boats and to give these boats or to rent it to the smugglers who are human trafficking the immigrants. So that was a shock. So that's a trade that creates a lot of money for a very corrupted man. Of course, our revolutions and the revolutions in the Middle East made the government with a less control on this corruption. So it created opportunities for the smugglers to evolve. So the phenomena that we are also creating in a 24 hours, payments are done by the people who are hoping for a better life and who are trying to immigrate. They are paying a lot of money, maybe all of the money that they can possess in order to immigrate. In 48 hours, the boats are ready. In 72 hours, immigrants are in the sea. 96 hours, 60% of the immigrants are dead. And this is a high casualties that we are facing these days. After a week, 40% of the immigrants that are coming from North Africa is in Europe, if they are still alive. So that is a very serious problem that we have to face in the education and in the practice as well. So this is a picture of the place in Egypt. It's called El Sayary. It is a fisherman place, but it is a very deteriorated place with a severe poverty. You see the very dangerous blend, very poor people that are very skillful in using the boats and in traveling through the sea with a very simple means. So, and plus the corruption. So what can you deduce out of this equation? Of course, a phenomenon that is called the illegal immigration. Plus the determination and the hope of these immigrants in creating better futures for their lives. So this is a very deadly, it's like a human time bomb. It's creating a very serious crisis at the back door of Europe and in the front door of North Africa. So we have to be concerned about it in our university, in Alexandria University. It was taking alarm. We are the professors of Alexandria University. How can we what's our role in solving this problem? Plus the recent energy crisis that we are facing these days that created a severe development of this problem. So we decided in the design studio to establish a new school of thought. It is called Principles of Compact Design. It is a new school of thought that might solve a little bit the problem of the severe poverty of our nations. I'm talking about, of course, North Africa. It is summarized in main 4 principles: overlap of user space, material reduction to decrease the expenses, a compact furniture, and to make a multi-use space, and after the last one is the multi-use open space. So that was the design assignment that we have created for our students. A big multi-use space with just a cube with a 2.5 and a 2.5 and a 2.5 meter. This is what we are calling the life cube. So this really began with a real life work in our studio. A client came to us and he is telling us that he wants to create a multi-use space and he'd just like to have a compact cube with 4 different rooms, 4 different uses of 4 different spaces. And he would like to change these spaces every day, adapting to his needs. So we told them it's parents. So why not to transfer this real life practice to our students in order to create better opportunities for the poor people and the people who are living in severe poverty to have a better chances in life and to decrease the expenses for them to create them for life. So our future architects proved they are much more innovative than we have expected. That are the work of our students that I would like just to show in a quick slideshow. We had like 120 different projects of our students about this topic, and they innovated in. So that was the first step that we have created to train our future architects to solve the problems of our nation. Now we have to realize that we have 7 years of heritage. So how can't we use it? It's 7 years of accumulated experience, 7 years of science that we are losing, and we are not using it in the proper way. So this what makes us different. We should make use of this experience. It's all about transferring intangible values. That is the main item that I would like to show in the next project, both social and environment. So my next residential project, it is about transferring the values that we have found, and we have made a very deep research about the houses in Egypt, the Mediterranean house in Egypt in the Middle Ages. We found that there are some kind of values that didn't take the really mature kind of design criteria as we teach today in the academia, but it is very valuable principles like the possession of privacy, preventing damage, gaining benefits, priority of neighbor. Any architect in Egypt in the Middle Ages had to put these 4 principles in his mind. And this is an original house. It's called Beit As-Suhaimi. Beit is like Kaza, the house of a very rich man that used to live in the Middle Age. It was like the prime minister of Egypt in this time. It's called As-Suhaimi. And this is a house that was built on 100 years. The second generation and the third generation completed his work, and it was like a legacy. Today, it is one of the most important historical houses that we preserve and we show to the tourists. So it's not only, I talked to the mayor and to the men in the ministry, it is not only to create touristic opportunities. Why can't our students make use of this experience? So we started making a research. What are the values that we are losing, and what are the values that our nation and our community still needs it? So we had made our research on a very technological computer 3D scanning devices, and started making like a reverse engineering until we reached to the architecture program and then the family needs. And then we started, after understanding the values, to develop these values, and this is the very important part that I would like to stress about. It is not only about making, transferring the same experience to the future generation. No, we have to put our role in it. We have to transfer our legacy to the next 1,000 years for the next future generations. So we decided to create a new Beit As-Suhaimi or Kaza Al-Suhaimi, but in 2014, sorry. So the new concept that we have introduced to the building to create it in a zero carbon, zero net energy, self-sufficient, and with a waste management policy. So these are the added values that we would like to transfer to the next future generations, and they would complete their role in developing the next step. It's all about enhancing the social interaction, creating social spaces, and creating an introversial design. So that was the first prototype. And by the way, this is not a thesis, this is not an academic project, it is a real-life project that is built on the Western Sahara Desert in Egypt, in Alexandria, in a place called the King Marriott. So it is a real-life project, and we are gaining the experience through developing this project. And after 1 year, it gained 2 awards, a scientific first prize of the scientific award and the Hassan Fathi Silver Award. So that was a step that confirmed that we are on the right way to complete the project. It's a lifetime project. We can't say that it is just we are building a house. No, we are creating a new school of thought. So we believe, after making like 55 different interviews with the 55 family in Egypt with the middle social classes, that this is the house, the Egyptian prototype, that would reflect their aspirations, their needs, and would make them happy in their life. I would just like to run through the slides. Of course, the classical way in designing was incorporated in developing the design. And the solar panels that are needed in this place to create a zero energy to solve the problem of the energy crisis in Egypt. with a complete passive design. And now it's the role of the urban design. We have to pay attention also to the role of the urban design. So at the last, it's important to us to express our Mediterranean identity, not just to create a contemporary house that reflects our needs, also our values need to be expressed. So we try to make like a complex of 12 private homes with these principles. That was like the final product image. And it was important for us also to create a modern contemporary lifestyle that is cozy and intimate. Also, the classical design approaches was not enough for us. So we had made a very deep scientific research with the calculations, with the energy modeling, and the CFD, computational fluid dynamics, to test our design and to be sure that it is functioning on the right path and on the right way. The different levels with the CFD. And now the illumination levels inside the home to make sure that at least 12 hours of the day they won't be needing an artificial lighting system. It was not enough for us. So we retrieved to the days of the master architects, the architect who used to make the architecture, the furniture, and even the industrial design to make sure that every item in the building is expressing our identity. So we decided to create a Mediterranean furniture that expresses the Sahara and the water and the elements that we are living every day. Even in the furniture and in the industrial design, and this particular door handle we are calling messages. Messages, it is a very simple one. All of these items are gathered, and every day I might be giving message, for example, for my wife, and giving her a flower in the door handle of the flower, making it easy for my children to open the door handle. When they grow a little bit, I can change the door handle. So it is messages. That project, that industrial project, had an attention, and it was published on Design Boom, a known community in the industrial design, Italian industrial design. Pardon. So just I'll have to run through the slides. Many experiences that we were conducting, and even a glass house that is totally passive, Egyptian contemporary house. Another house, and my colleagues had a joke on this house. They called it, oh wow, you are creating a very fancy air conditioning system. They called this house the air conditioner. They didn't realize. They told me, where's the classical arch? Where's the dome? So I'm telling them, this is the new Mediterranean identity. It's not, we are not copying our heritage, we are developing our heritage. Also, we conducted this architecture in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. In Riyadh, in the Saudi Arabian. And the last project that I would like to end with, NASA Space Agency decided for real to build the first project on Moon in 2069. And they conducted a big competition that was held by, I think, Mr. Cohen, the chief architect of NASA. And that project that expresses also our Mediterranean identity, we make a reverse engineering, biological reverse engineering of the system of the tree, how it could biologically function to create an architecture, contemporary self-sufficient architecture on Moon. And this project was one of the 9 finalists that reached in the finals of the competition. So still our Mediterranean identity could be reflected in another place beyond the Earth. And at the last, we created a design manifesto. We dig deep in the lost values to retrieve our heritage, like Bibliotheca Alexandrina for an example. Redefine it and reintroduce it using the cutting-edge technologies. It is the role of the today architects, and we convey this legacy to future generations to convey the role of the future architects. So we have aspirations that we could cooperate as nations of the Mediterranean nations, and we have hope for the future architects that they could complete the message that we are starting. And at the last, we have many thanks to our today gatherings that you have created this opportunity to show our research. Thank you.